Hello and welcome to the In News program. Today's topic of discussion is women officers along the LOC. So the points of discussion will be, we will discuss about the news, then we will discuss what is a territorial army, what does this approval mean for women in the Indian Army, information about the territorial army, roles and responsibilities, women in the forces and way forward. First of all, let's have a look at the news. In a press release by the Press Information Bureau, women officers of the Territorial Army, that is TA, will now be posted with engineer regiments of the Territorial Army. The officers will serve along the line of control and as staff officers at TA Group Headquarters or Directorate General of Territorial Army at New Delhi as per organizational requirement. The Territorial Army commenced commissioning women officers in Ecological Task Force units, TA Oil Sector units and TA Railway Engineer Regiment in 2019. The Ministry of Defence also said that depending on the experience gained during this period, the scope of further employment for women officers in TA can also be extended. Now let's understand what is a Territorial Army, that is TA. The Territorial Army is part of the regular army and its role is to relieve the regular army from static duties and assist civil administration. The TA deals with assisting during natural calamities and is involved in the maintenance of essential services in situations where life of the communities is affected or the security of the country is threatened. The TA also provides units for regular army as and when required. The TA officers undergo annual training on basic military skills while remaining in civilian life like a citizen soldier's army. Now, what does this approval mean for women in the Indian Army? The inclusion of women in TA is aimed to be a progressive policy measure at enhancing the scope of employment of women officers in addition to meeting their professional aspirations. The recruited women will now serve and train under the same conditions as their male counterparts in a wider range of units and appointments. Some reports suggest that the women officers who are already fly fighters in the Indian Air Force will now be trained to handle howitzers and rocket systems. Now, information about the Territorial Army. India's first Governor General, Shri C. Rajgopalachari, formally inaugurated the Indian Territorial Army on October 9 in 1949. It is an organization where volunteers apply for a short period of training every year so as to be ready to tackle any emergent situation or to serve for the defense of India. The Territorial Army, also known as the Terriers, is considered the second line of national defense after the regular army. Now, if we talk about roles and responsibilities, the Territorial Army is part of a regular army and its present role is to relieve the regular army from static duties and assist civil administration. In dealing with natural calamities and maintenance of essential services in situations where life of the communities is affected or the security of the country is threatened, and to provide units for regulars army as and when required. Territorial Army comes under the Defense Ministry. Now let's discuss about women in the forces. Indian Army. Consequent to grant of permanent commission to women officers, that is WOs, a gender-neutral career progression policy covering employment and promotional aspects was promulgated on 23rd November 2021, providing equal opportunities to women officers in the arms or services where they are commissioned. Indian Air Force. Women officers are empowered to tenate key appointments, including commanding officers in combat units of various field units. The rules in this regard are gender neutral and provide them equal opportunities. Their medical fitness and medical conditions are also factored prior to their effective utilization. Indian Navy. Officers are given opportunities for spouse co-location, resettlement posting, and compassionate grounds posting in a gender-neutral manner. Now moving on to the significance. Gender is not a hindrance. As long as an applicant is qualified for a position, one's gender is arbitrary. In modern high-technology battlefield, technical expertise and decision-making skills are increasingly more valuable than simple brute strength. Military readiness. Allowing a mixed gender force keeps the military strong. The armed forces are severely troubled by falling retention and recruitment rates. This can be addressed by allowing women in the combat role. Effectiveness. The blanket restriction for women limits the ability of commanders in theater to pick the most capable person for the job. Tradition. Training will be required to facilitate the integration of women into combat units. Cultures change over time and the masculine subculture can evolve too. Global scenario. When women officially became eligible for combat positions in the American military in 2013, it was widely hailed as another step towards the equality of sexes. In 2018, the UK military lifted a ban on women serving in close combat ground roles, clearing the way for them to serve in elite special forces. Lastly, let's discuss about the way forward. Women are being kept out of command post on the reasoning that the largely rank and file will have problems with women as commanding officers. Thus, changes have to take place in the culture, norms, and values of not only the rank and file of the army but also that of society at large. The responsibility to usher these changes lies with the senior military and political leadership. The United States, Israel, North Korea, France, Germany, Netherlands, Australia, and Canada are among the global militaries that employ women in frontline combat positions. It is the right of every woman to pursue a career of her choice and reach the top, since equality is a constitutional guarantee. So that's all for today. Stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks for watching.